We had a couple guys missing tonight, so I'm gonna end up putting YouTube in this one so they can see it. Manning, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Alex, we can hear your TV. Okay, you just turned it off. Never mind. Um, Manning, you're muted. Or so,
Yes, I know. I know I'm muted.
where uh where are you? Are you in Connecticut?
Yeah, I'm home in Connecticut.
Okay, that's
I just
cool.
started college classes again.
Good for you. Where are you going?
The same place where I graduated from in Danbury.
Great. That's great. Getting ready to start the season.
I'm so ready.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm fortunate. I have my first scrimmage tomorrow. Looking
Where?
forward to
Oh,
that. Yeah, I'm down south right now, so I'm
yeah.
at Campbell University tomorrow. That'll be fun.
Campbell Camels.
The Campbell Camels. That's exactly right. I was just looking at the website and I was laughing at that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Campbell had a decent team. Was it last year or 2 years ago? Because they won their conference and they went fairly deep into
Okay.
maybe they were at the super regionals. I'm not sure. But they they did well for themselves. It was
I'm
either
gonna.
last year or 2 years ago.
I'm expecting one more guy. Let me see if let me text him real quick if I have the number here. Hold on. Oh, I'm recording, so I can't minimize.
I can give you a number if you need it.
Yeah, well, you want to maybe get a hold of Emilio?
I'll try.
And here he is. Never mind.
Okay, it's even better. Yeah, because he was supposed to be calling from the road, maybe on the way back from Boston.
I don't exactly recall.
Yeah,
Hold
I
on.
think so.
Hey, Mark. I'm okay. Can I call you back in probably an hour, hour and a half? Just started a Zoom. All right, buddy. Talk to you soon. Bye. All right. Hi, guys. This is everybody that's going to be here tonight. Jason is on a business trip, and Alex Meyer is stuck at work. So gonna get right. I'm gonna jump right into it. I'm gonna try and make this one as quick as possible tonight. We have crap load to cover, but we'll see how it goes. All right. Everyone can see my screen.
It's loading.
Yes.
Great. I I will say this. The class average on the quiz was, drum roll please, 50. So we're gonna go over that quiz and we're gonna talk about some things from last week first. Well, right, we'll jump right into it. I think no, actually, no, everybody didn't get this one right. All right. Uh, I'm just gonna ask people to answer it, and we're gonna talk about it. Riv, why don't you go over number one?
Okay. A fielder is presumed to have made a catch as soon as the baseball is secured in the glove.
What do you have?
True.
False.
Um,
Uh, false.
Or
I have false.
it is
I had
false.
I had false. I just thought I got it wrong.
Three
No, you
requirements of a cat.
You
you
outsmarted yourself.
yeah, no. So in 291, this is something we're gonna be talking about a lot in mechanics classes. We need to make sure every time that a ball is caught by a fielder, by a batted ball, a thrown ball, a pitched ball. Okay, we need two things. We always need firm and secure possession, and the second one is some kind of continuing action being completed. Okay, which is usually reaching into the glove. Okay, so just the fact that he caught it, that it's in the glove, doesn't mean he's actually made a catch by rule yet. Um, Let's see. Back these out. We'll go to the next one. Ricky, why don't you do the next one? If I can figure out how to get there. There we go.
A forced out is completed by um, B.
It's actually C.
Oh well, C. I think I have C actually. Let me double check.
Nobody, I'll say this, nobody had C. So there's a big zero on that one. No offense.
No, you're
Uh,
good.
yeah. So we have C, and when we looked at, when I asked you to take a look at Rule 911, it's going to make a difference. So we're going to come back to this one and why it makes a difference. But the rule specifically states forces are put out by a tag out or by touching the base. So if the runner is forced and he's put out before he reaches his forced base, it's going to be a force out. And there are times when we will disallow or negate a run because the third out is a force out. If that third out, he's tagged before the base, it's still a force out. So we'll talk when we get to the bonus question about how that works. Clear all. Is this clear all? That's clear all. Okay. All right. Jesus, you with us? Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Awesome. All right, Jesus, why don't you try number 3?
R1, R2, R3, bases loaded, no outs. The ball is grounded to F3, first base. F3 touches first base, then throws home, where F2 catcher steps on the plate just before R3 touches the plate.
What do we have?
I got B.
That's right. So on this one, everybody that's here got that one right. So on this one, the point is that once once the first baseman touches first base, the force is removed, and any other outs have to be tags. Any questions or comments there on that one?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Emilio, why don't you try number 4?
Sure. R1 only, one out. The ball is grounded to F4, second baseman, who muffs the ball but is able to pick it up with his free hand. Second baseman F4 then dives to tag the base with his glove. The ball is still in his free hand. I have B. The runner is safe because the ball did not touch the base, is what I think.
Okay. It's wrong. Don't feel bad. Everybody got this wrong.
I
The
didn't have
runner
my
is
rule
out.
book with me, so I did this mainly from knowledge because I was traveling the last 2 days.
Okay. I
Interesting.
oh, yeah. So this one's interesting because if you think about the just a regular out at first base, right? The first baseman's got the ball, his foot's on the bag, right? This is kind of the same thing. He's got the ball and he touches the bag. That's all he needs to do for a force out. So this force out here just says holding the ball. Doesn't say holding the ball in the glove or in the hand, and while touching the base that they're advancing to. So this one sounds tricky, but it's not. It's
I
honestly
I
just
thought it was kind of like the runner. Like if you tag him with like the ball not in your glove and you hit him with the glove, he's not out, right? But that doesn't work
well,
the same for a force out at a base.
a tag out is different.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay,
No, I'm assuming it is. I just that
it
was like
is
my
it
thought
is
process.
definitely different. You have to tag a tag out has to be made with the ball in the glove or with the ball in the hand and touching the runner. But a force out, you just need to be holding the ball. It's like I said, it's kind of like say it's a double play at second base, and the second baseman grabs the ball with his hand instead of grabbing it with his glove, and then makes the throw. It's really the same thing. He's got the ball and he's touching the base at the same time. That's all we need. All right, next one. Go back to Riv number 5.
No runners, no outs. The ball is grounded to F6, the shortstop. The throw to F3 is low and glances off his glove. F3 is able to secure the ball under his arm before the batter runner arrives. He is then able to voluntarily release the ball from under his arm and maintain possession. Out. A.
It's safe. Again, it's right out of this one's right out of the rule book. I added this one because my maybe second year, I got this one completely wrong. This exact scenario happened to me, and I called him out. The coach was cool about it. Happened to be somebody I know, but is the okay, this goes back to the definition of a catch. This ball has not been caught yet because
Oh,
the catch, it has to be secured possession in the hand or glove. So this goes right back to the definition of a catch. So learn from my mistake. If that happens, runner's safe. I'm not trying to be tricky here. It's just these are scenarios that happen. This is everyday baseball. This is teenager baseball when stupid stuff happens. So it's stuff we need to be ready for. Uh Ricky, 1 through 6.
R1 and R3, first and third, 1 out. The ball is grounded to F3, first base. F3 touches the first base, then throws ahead of R1 at second base. The out can be completed by B. Type. Wait, hold on, wait. Yeah, B.
Yeah, go with that. That's
Yeah,
good.
B. Yeah.
So why is it B?
Because once you hit I guess first base, you get the batter runner.
Yep.
The force is already gone for the player that's ahead.
Right. So the batter runner is out at first, so he's the following runner. So any preceding runners, the force is now removed. A force play ends as soon as that's the wrong one. Or as soon as a following runner is put out at a previous base. Similar to the bases loaded one. This is almost the exact same play, just at a different base.
Yeah.
This is one you're going to see. They call it a reverse double play. First and third, you do the ball to the grounder to the first baseman, touches the base, throws to second. They got to make a tag at second, and we have things to worry about with the runner from third at that point because it's not a force play. We'll get into that. Okay, we got Jesus. Can you do 7, please?
R1 and R2, first and second, 1 out. The ball is grounded to F6, who throws the ball wildly to first base. The ball stays in play and R2 scores. But R1 is then caught in a rundown by the batter runner, and R1 end up at second base. The ball is thrown to F4, who tags both runners standing on the base. I got B. Batter runner is out.
Okay, can you tell me why you got B?
Because the second base is from the R1 runner, because it's ahead of the batter runner.
Yes. So you're exactly right. So second base belongs to R1 until he achieves the next base. Um, the following runner is declared out unless there's a force, in which case if there were a force, there is not here, then the other runner would be out. Is this coming clearer, guys? Am I helping any?
Yeah.
good.
Could you repeat
Okay.
that? Okay, it was B. Okay.
Which one?
Um,
Are we
audio
good?
for a second. Yep.
Okay. Emilio, try 8. You're on mute, Emilio.
Sorry about that. R1 and R2, first and second, 1 out. The ball is grounded to F6, who runs R2 back to second base. F6 tags R1 and R2, who are both standing on the base. I put R2 is out.
Yeah, this one,
B.
this one's simply a force out. Okay. Now, if we had bases loaded and R2 was the third out as a force out, we're not going to have a run score. So this is why, even though it's not third base being touched to force him out, this is why it's a big deal that we know that this is a force out and not just a tag out. Well, it'll come clear as we go. Uh, number nine. I think we're back to Riv.
R1 only, 1 out. The batter runner hits a clean single down the right field line. R1 stops at second, but the batter runner continues. R1 then starts for third base to be put out.
This is to put R1 out. Excuse me. That should say for R1 to be put out.
R1 then starts first base to be put out.
So we have a runner on first. Now we have two guys on second, and now one decides to head for third.
I'll give it A. Wait, hold on.
So we have
B.
this. Yeah, it is B. You're welcome. It's for a couple reasons here. We'll go over each of the possibilities here. If you look at A, third base being tagged doesn't matter because there's no force. He actually owns second base, right? He's not forced to go anywhere. Um, a runner will always be out well if he's tagged off a base, right? So th this one is true. And if they both end up on second base, if R1 goes back and they're both on second base, it's our following runner, the batter runner, who would be out. So it's not this one. It's not this one. So it's not this one. B is our answer here. That one was kind of complicated. It adds, we're talking about force outs, we're talking about tag outs, we're talking about two runners on the same base, all in the same question here. I understand that was difficult, but when it happens on the field, it's something. The first time it happens, your head's going to spin, and hopefully you're prepared to get it right. So I can guarantee you, the second time it happens, it'll be much more comfortable for you. And number 10 would be who was who was after Alex? I don't remember.
Me.
Ricky. Yep.
Yeah. No one on, no outs. The batter hits a fly ball to deep right center field. FA center field makes an amazing diving catch. FA raises his gloves to show that he made the catch, and the ball falls to the ground. Batter runner had continued to second base. I believe I put B for this one.
Yes, you did, and you are correct. There's a little bit of common sense on this one. If he rolled over, got up, showed his glove, and then it fell out, the continuing action is completed. But if he's laying on the ground, tries to show the ball, and the ball comes popping out, no catch, no catch. We're gonna get big on that. And our batter runner is going to be safe at second base. Okay, and this goes again back to the definition of the catch. Not completed until the continuing action is completed. And this one, there would be maybe some judgment to it, depending on if you thought that he had made a move secondary to the catch. But more often than not, this is going to be, sorry, dude, you didn't catch it. And Jesus, you want to do the bonus question? Well, you didn't answer it. Riv, you want to do the bonus question?
All right. Refer to question 7. Same question, but the play started with 2 outs. Does R2's run count as a play at second is now the 3rd out?
Okay, I'm going to go back to question 7 so we can read it. So R1 and R2, 2 outs. So we have the batter runner and R1 both ending up at second base. Which runner do we have here? We had the batter runner being out, right? So
Mhm.
we
Yeah.
did not have a force out. All right. Because it's not a force out, there are certain times that we have to negate a run because of what the 3rd out was. And they're all right here. And you know, our baseball sense tells us that we understand it, but we need to actually know this. This is a super important rule to know because you're talking about scoring runs or not scoring runs. That's the most important thing in the game. Who scored more runs, right? So we're going to talk about three times. The 4th one's kind of included in another 3 times, and we know this too. We have a runner on 3rd. We have a ground out. Batter runner's out at first base. We know that that run doesn't score, right? Anybody that knows baseball knows that. Okay. This one's a little more complicated. Okay. Say we had runners on 1st and 3rd and 2 outs. They make the out at second base for a force out. Okay. That run didn't score because there was a force out for the 3rd out. And yeah, this one having to do with appeals, we'll get to that later. But just know that there are times that the 3rd run doesn't score, and sometimes that it's not clear if it was a force out or not. This one can be confusing. Okay. If you have, we'll say 1st and 3rd, 1 out, fly ball to center field, runner on 3rd tags legally, runner on 1st gets doubled off first base. You need to know if that run scores or not. That out at 1st is not a force out, so that run would still score. So we're taking baby steps here, but you got to understand the definition of a force. You have to understand when somebody's forced out on the base paths, and especially with 2 outs, that way you can understand if these runs score or not. Complicated questions, I get it, but you know we're trying to shove 10 pounds of crap in a 5 pound bag here, guys. You know. Um, any questions on any of those? Anyone?
I swear it gets easier.
Yeah. Well, Manning. If nobody here knows Manning, I should introduce him. Manning, 5th year on the board.
Since winter of
6th year,
2019.
19. Okay, so this will be your seventh season. Manning went to pro school in 2024. So he's very well educated in the game of baseball. And he's even so, he's still here to listen in and learn. You know, this is what we do. We're constantly trying to pick more up and absorb whatever we can. The rules aren't easy.
Bob, what was the final answer to that one?
To
The
that,
run doesn't.
the run does score
The run
because
does score.
because there
Yeah.
was not a force out at second base. You had two runners on the base,
Yep.
batter runner and R1, I think it was. Yeah, batter runner and R1.
Yeah.
So since if either one of them were out, there's no force on that play at
Yeah.
that base at that point.
No, I was just comparing it to my answer. I want to see because I said the run counts, but I think I wrote down for a different reason. That's why
Okay.
I was just kind of curious.
Bob,
Yes.
So I
the other
figured
thing
it
we have to
counted.
consider on that play with the two outs is the timing play.
That's what I was gonna say. It counts as long as he crosses home plate before anyone is run down or tagged out. That was my answer.
Yeah, as long as the out's made before the run scores.
Yeah. Okay. I had it with a rundown going on, so I just it was
So
assumed
I'm
to
just
me.
saying,
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
have
You're
to
right.
consider that when we have a situation like this.
There is a timing element to this. Definitely. I didn't even really consider that because it was the nature of the play, but you're absolutely right. There's a timing element here. If the out's made before
Before
the
he
run
crosses,
scores,
then that obviously doesn't count.
then it doesn't count.
Correct.
Excellent. Yeah. All
Thank
right,
you.
we're gonna do just some quick terminology stuff on some things you're gonna see later in the class. I want you to start to understand some of the words that we're using. Interference and obstruction are um, things that we really need to understand. Um, so interference is right out of the rule book. An act, and I'm totally changing gears here, guys. We're past those questions now. An act by the offense. This is right out of the rule book. I don't really want to just read the rule book to you, but this is important. An act by the offense which interferes with, obstructs, hinders, impedes, or confuses any fielder attempting to make a play. The defense has the right to make a play unencumbered by the offense, especially on a batted ball, on a defender's first play on a batted ball. The defense has every right to the ball, has every right to the area where the ball is. Obstruction now, once that initial play on the ball is made, more often than not, we're going to have obstruction. Now, obstruction is an act by the defense. Okay. Obstruction is basically getting in the way of the runner, obstructing the runner. It's I'll read it from here, I guess. Intentional or unintentional, physical or verbal, that an act that hinders a runner or changes the pattern of play. Fake tags in high school are considered obstruction, and catcher's interference in the high school we call it catcher's obstruction. Okay, these are two super important terms that you're going to need to be able to distinguish between anytime there's some kind of contact between the offense and the defense, or even at times when just the offense or the defense has to adjust what they're doing because of what the other side is doing. There doesn't always need to be contact. Could be verbal, could be just getting in the way. There doesn't always need to be contact. But if one side gets in the way of the other, you have to decide who had the right of way and what you need to do from there. Like I said here, interference is always on the offense, and it usually results in a dead ball. It usually results in us killing the play. There are two instances where it's not a dead ball. We'll get into that when we actually talk about the types of interference. And then on the other hand, obstruction is on the defense. Obstruction is getting in the way of the runner. And obstruction is always a delayed dead ball. I can't think of a single time in high school baseball where obstruction would result in us killing the play because the offense gets to continue the play to see if they can score or advance other bases, even though one of the runners may have been obstructed. Okay, so if we can't have an act by the defense, causing the offense to lose out on a play. So if these are right out of the rule book, but these are two of the more important terms that you're going to see for when we get on the field. As far as I think I said to you guys, 90% of the game, 80, 85, somewhere around there, it officiates itself. You got an easy grounder to short, you got a fly ball to center, you're calling balls and strikes, and the game's going along all hunky dory. And then you have a blow up collision play at the plate, and that's why we're there. Those are the things that we need to understand what the rules are, who was allowed to do what, and what we're supposed to do. So this is the beginning of understanding what interference is and what obstruction is. This is the beginning of that road that's coming later. Bunch of types of interference. The batter can interfere with the catcher. Maybe it gets in the way of the catcher trying to make a throw on a stolen base. They have to be careful if they throw their ball in fair territory. They have to keep. We'll talk about different types of things that happen with the bat on a swing. The runners can definitely cause all kinds of interference. They can interfere with the fielder. They can interfere with the fielder making a throw. If they're hit by a batted ball, you're going to need to know if it's interference or not, because there's times it's actually not. Runner's lane is something that has been in a couple World Series in the last 8 years or so. One I think was officiated right, one I think it wasn't, but who am I? Force play slide rule violations. We're going to talk about that. When a runner slides, they have to slide legally. They can't blow up a play. It's the high school has a version of the Chase Utley rule. It's different. It's actually more stringent than the pro rule. And we can interfere. There's a couple ways we can interfere. You're never going to want to have to call that, but trust me, you will. It happens. We can interfere with the catcher's throw. We can get hit by a batted ball. That's types of interference also. So there's a lot to go over when we get to that. Just know that there's all these different types of interference that all have different types of rulings we have to make. That 10% of the game is going to be 90% of what's on our mind. And well, why don't we take a 5 minute break? What time we got? I'm going quick. Let's take 5 minutes. We'll go over base running awards, and then the meat of today is going to be conduct by players and coaches. Let's take 5. I'll be right back. Oh, I found a really cool video. I put in it's like 4 minutes, so I'm gonna play this video while we're on break. Let's find it. I'll be back.
Quick question for the current umpires. It said retired runner on the last screen when the interference page. Is that just referring to somebody who's already out and then like leaving the field? Is that what a retired runner is?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Just wanted to specify. I just never saw that
Sure.
quote before. I just had to figure that's what it was, but want to confirm.
Yeah, you are exactly right. That's what it is.
Let's take a break. All right, who's ready for the season to start? Let's go.
Who's ready to see the Dodgers win?
Let's go, Matt. Let's go, Matt.
Thank
Wow.
you.
The
Let's
the
let's bow
Mets,
Matt.
the Mets, yeah, the Mets and Bo Bichette.
Yeah. I can't believe the
And
Mets minus Alonso, minus
yeah,
Nimmo, minus
Diaz.
Diaz. Oh my gosh.
And no pitching.
Yeah, well they got three rookies they're counting on. Go figure.
and the Yankees tied up Cody Bellinger for 5 years.
That's
They
right.
did. Yeah. I can't believe Tucker to the freaking Dodgers. I'm tired of that.
Listen, there's going to be a strike next year.
Oh, okay. That's news. Where'd I hear
You
that?
heard it?
Where'd you hear that from?
Intuition, I'm going to go off of.
Okay. All right. 5 minutes is up. We're gonna run through this here. Ricky Henderson. Ricky being Ricky, huh? Love him.
Ricky being Ricky.
Yeah. All right, we're just gonna go over base awards. Base awards primarily are a lot of what base awards are is when a ball's thrown or batted out of play, but that's not all base awards are. In walks, hit by pitches. Oh, let me skip to the next one first. But these are all different ways that we can award bases here. And the table in 8.3, this is just screenshots of the table. So we have to know on all base awards, first of all, how many bases and where the award starts from. And I'll explain that to you in a second. Delete that out. I mean, we have a crap load of one base awards. We have two base awards. A ground rule double is the wrong terminology. It's actually a book rule double, as far as I'm concerned. Fair batted ball bounces over a fence. That's a book rule double. We do have a time when we can award three bases, and four bases is obviously a home run situation. But let's go back to the beginning here. So, base awards. See, the umpire's got his hands up. We always make a base award with a dead ball. We except for walks, excuse me. A walk is not a dead ball award. And that's our position for time. All right. Important concepts to know for base awards. We need to know what the situation, what the infraction was and where we're awarding bases from. Time of pitch means exactly what it sounds like. Where were the base runners when the pitch was delivered to the batter? So if we have nobody on, nice and simple, nobody on, ground rule double, it's actually a two base award from the time of the pitch. It's not there's no judgment for us there. It's a two base award from the time of the pitch. Ground rule double. Nice and simple. If time of the throw, there are many times where a fielder releasing a throw and then a ball going out of play. There's many times where we have to know exactly where the base runner was at the time he released the ball. Anytime there's a throw from the outfield, you're going to take a mental snapshot. Where are my runners? Because if that ball goes out of play, we need to know what our base awards are going to be. And a concept of a play. is because sometimes it depends on if it's the first or second play that's happened, whether it's going to be a time of pitch or time of throw award. So say we have a runner on first and the fielder ground ball to second, throws to shortstop, easy double play, shortstop tosses it out of play. That's our second play by an infielder. So it's going to be a time and throw award. We'll get into that. Well, we're going to have to know what an actual play is to know if it's a time of pitch or time of award, time of throw award. I know I sound like I'm talking in circles, but at least I feel like I am. Um, just know that I would really like for you to know what time of pitch is, what time of throw is, and what a play is. Okay, those are three concepts that I would need you to look in the rule book and understand what those concepts are. Oops, delete that. Okay, these tables these are good tables to look at. I mean, it tells you right here how many bases. Um, Here we go. A live thrown ball touched by an illegal glove or mitt. You're gonna have to know if somebody says, "Hey, that's an illegal glove," and they're right. You're gonna have to know how many bases that award's going to be and where the when the award is from. Deleted this one. Let's see an easier one. Two bases, time of pitch, first throw by an infielder, and the ball goes out of play. Ground ball to shortstop, airmails it, throws it into the stands to past first base. That's a time of pitch award. So any runners that were on base are going to get two bases from where they started. I'm only going to bring up these two because these are the most important two. The rest of them we'll get into as time goes. First throw by an infielder is a time of pitch award. Every single other throw is a time of throw award. This is the only special one. First throw by an infielder, time of pitch. Any throw by an outfielder, any throw on a second play by an infielder, it's time of throw. So know this one as an exception. First throw by an infielder, time of pitch. Any other throw, it's time of throw. And it makes a difference when we start to see plays where maybe a base runner already advanced a base. Now, are we giving them the award from first or second? So I'm asking you if nothing else, understand time of pitch, understand time of throw, and definitely know the difference between these two. First throw, any other throw. At pro school, that was the way we had to answer questions when they were grilling us on the field about why we gave what base award, first throw or any other throw. All right.
Hey, Bob,
Yes, sir.
on the base on balls, obviously that's live, but if it's intentional base on balls, the ball's dead.
An intentional base on balls is a dead ball. That's right. Yep. Yeah. Is it in it? It's not in that table. It's in the table in Rule 5. Yeah, it doesn't say if it's dead or not there, but you're absolutely correct. So, Riv, speaking of bases on balls,
Yes.
you got a ball four wild pitch and it goes into the stands. Where's that batter runner going to end up, first or second?
Goes into the stands. He gets second base.
No,
No.
it's going to be just ball
On
four.
on a walk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
On a walk, just first.
just first. But say it was runners on first and third, or a runner on third, and that ball goes flying out of play, the runner on third is going to be awarded home because a pitch went out of play. But we're going to skip this part. This we need to talk about. We need to talk about blocks before I can talk about that. This is what I was just talking about. Time of pitch. Time of pitch. If it's the first play by an infielder, time of throw all other times. Really, really important concept to remember. Okay. I now normally you see a pickoff by the pitcher goes out of play. What are we giving the runner? Just regular baseball. We're going to give him second base, right? Now you got to know that it depends on the type of move the pitcher used. If he's still in contact with the pitcher's plate, get this out of the way. If he's still in contact with the pitcher's plate, then it's going to be a one base award. But if he steps off, it's going to be a two base award. And why would this be two bases? Let me see. Okay. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Because the first play is him touching the bag. And
Yeah,
the
I thought
second
this
play
was
is
a
him
different
throwing.
video. Yeah, I thought this was a different video. So this is a good example of why you need to know time of pitch or time of throw. Because this is the second play by an infielder. Was that runner at second base at the time of the throw? He's already
Yes.
got the base at the time of the throw, right? This is our infielder's second play. The first play was a legitimate attempt at an out at second base. Since that's his second play, this runner right here has already achieved second. It's two base time of throw award. So this runner is going home. We're going to score him. But the batter runner is only going to get second because at the time of the throw, he hadn't achieved first yet. So he gets first and then second. And I think we'll talk about it a little bit here. This is the kind of thing that happens that you need to understand time of pitch, time of throw, what's a play. It's all wrapped up in this one video. Start this over. I thought this was a different video.
So once the second or the shortstop touches the base, even though the guy that's already at second base, he's already there. From that, even on the slide, you can determine if he's there or not to give him to award him the two bases to go home.
If you called him safe, then he's got the base before the next throw.
Okay.
He made a legitimate attempt at a play at second base. That's his first play. His second play is the throw. So you've already got him safe at second before he makes the throw. So now you've got a subsequent play by an infielder, a ball thrown out of play. That runner on second is going to be scored.
Bob, is there supposed to be audio with these video?
You know what? I do that every time I share. Thank you.
Sure.
There's a checkbox for share sound. I always forget to hit that. All right, let's start from the beginning.
Tapper up the gut. Bobby Witt. Beat him to the bag, or did he? No.
Plate umpire gets it wrong at first. He's going to third base.
Bobby Witt, the
He did
fastest
not
man
beat
in
him to the
baseball.
bag, and he threw it away, and the Guardians have taken the lead on a wild play.
Boy, I didn't see that. I thought he got him, and he was trying for the double play. Here he comes. Naylor slides.
Oh, he never touched the bag at all.
Right, and then rushing the throw, it gets away. So that you're right. He was right on the play, never touched the bag. He was behind it. And Naylor.
I want to show you something just because this is the kind of stuff I look at. You find it here.
Never touched the bag.
Watch the umpire moving left. He's got the perfect angle to see if he touched the bag or not. If he was looking at it from the camera angle from our position, he would never know. And this is why people think that we're stationary on the field, but we're constantly moving, trying to get the right angle to see plays happen.
He was behind it. And Naylor.
There's a lot to talk about in that one. But we're moving along. Got a lot to cover coming up. Yeah, let me go over this one last piece about base awards. A key concept in base awards is that you're giving the base runner you're giving the base runner the base without liability to be put out, but the base runners still need to touch every base as they go. I have a video of that, but it would take too long to find it right now. Okay. We're going to go over bench and field conduct. This is really a big part of what we do. I've said it before, we're the big boys on the field, we're the adults on the field, even over the coaches sometimes. We need to manage our games. And these are the Rule 3-3 gives us our tools to manage the game. I'm here to tell you, those of you that have done some youth ball and whatnot, high school ball. Let me change the color here, if I can figure out how. High school ball. These guys need to get their butt in the dugout. This guy needs to get his butt in the dugout. We don't have people on the field. There are 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 people allowed to be out on the field besides umpires. You have nine fielders, a batter, an on-deck batter, and 2 base coaches. Everybody else is put away. You need to take care of your territory and make sure that stuff doesn't happen, because it will. Just soapboxing for a second there. This picture bothers me because this is not allowed in high school baseball. You can maybe, you got a coach of a 10U team, whatever. That's not high school baseball though. I wouldn't even allow it in a 10U game. Okay, we have in our rule book in Rule 3-3, we have a 3-tiered system for dealing with misconduct, for letting people know that we think that their behavior is inappropriate. Our first one is one we're going to use every single game. You're gonna end up giving some kind of warning. The coach is chirping at you about balls and strikes. The third base coach thinks you got to play wrong at second base. Of course, he's got the best angle from there. Our first step is always that stop sign, that hand up is huge. That lets everybody in the ballpark know that you're addressing him and you're telling him to stop. This stop sign is something we're going to use honestly every game. In high school, our next step is what's called a written warning, where we can restrict the coach to the bench. And by that time, if he continues his behavior, continues to say things that are inappropriate, continues to do things that are inappropriate, by that time he's ejected himself. We're just finishing the act for him because he's already done it to himself. Okay, so we're gonna really cover verbal warnings, written warnings, and ejections. So Warn, restrict, eject. Warn, restrict, eject. Keep that in your toolbox. Warn, restrict, eject. Of course, if somebody does something worthy of being ejected, we can go straight to ejection if it's necessary. If it's you know usually any word followed by you will get a coach ejected or a player ejected. You know, once it becomes personal, profane, prolonged, um, then they've skipped the verbal, they've skipped the written, and they've decided to watch the game from the parking lot. Okay, verbal warning. Verbal warnings inform a participant that any further action will lead to restriction and or ejection. A warning is not, coach, stop. Coach, that's enough. A warning is actually, coach, this is your warning. This is your warning. It's very clear. You know, it sounds like you're being robotic and you're not. You're being very clear that this coach, that you are trying to keep this coach in the game. Written warning. All right, coach, that's enough. You're restricted. Stop the game. Stand on the foul line. Write the ticket. You're gonna it's gonna be very clear what's happening to everybody in the park. Now we'll talk about what once a coach is restricted, what they can and can't do. They basically can't leave the dugout. Okay. Assistant coaches, where there's a pecking order on the field. Head coaches get some leash. Assistant coaches may get some leash depending on their behavior. Players, um, scorekeepers, training personnel, none of them get leashes. The I don't we don't restrict or we can give a warning to a player, but it's followed quickly by an ejection if they don't heed the warning. Head coaches, you give some leash to. We kind of need head coaches in the game. You know, they're our biggest conduit for helping to keep their players in check. But I mean, look at Tony Vitello with the Tennessee Volunteers. That whole team followed him. He was a jerk, and his whole team was a bunch of jerks. Um, so sometimes you got to get rid of the coach, and then the players will come in line. But more often than not, it's we need the coach. We need the coach in the game. If you restrict an assistant coach, the head coach actually gets restricted also. I've had to do that a couple times. That's a very specific reference in the rule book. I have no idea where I got this picture from. All right, let's talk about ejections. Like I said earlier, you know, you've warned the coach, you've restricted the coach. He continues the behavior, continues to mouth off, continues to grandstand. I mean, we're just we're just doing what he's been asking for. He's trying to get out of the game, you know, and with on each step. Whoops, hold on, somebody's coming in. On each step, we should be writing down details because if it gets to the point where we're at an ejection, we're going to need to write a report and we're going to need to be able to document when the warning was, when the restriction was, why it was. It's a short report, but you know, I can guarantee you if you eject a coach, your assigner has gotten a phone call before the game's over. Your assigner's already gotten one side of the story. So make sure you have your details correct. Make sure you have your details truthful. Truthful is very important. And you know, your signers, everybody will back you as long as it was appropriate, you know, and usually they are. Come on now. Let's go. Ah, okay. If a coach gets ejected, he has to leave the confines of the playing field, and he has to be what they call out of sight and sound. If that was the only coach for the team, maybe you're doing a JV game, and you know English teacher Jones was the only coach that day. Um, we don't even continue the game until they find an adult to continue to coach. It could be the basketball coach who's in the stands. Doesn't matter as long as he's a school representative and he's got the same concussion and first aid type training that coaches are required to have. Um, well, let me go back. Players, oddly enough, if you eject a player, he has to stay on the bench because we can't send a player off without adult supervision. And that's why I say we don't. One of the reasons I say we don't restrict players, because restricting and ejecting are basically the same thing. And in the rule, it doesn't allow for restricting players. The rule only allows for restricting coaches. But if a player gets ejected, he can leave with a parent as long as the coach is aware and agrees. But he can't sit in the stands with the parent. He either has to stay on the bench in the dugout, or he's got to be gone with an adult. Don't don't tell him he's got to go to the bus or something like that. And next thing that was the visiting team's kid, and they can't even find him now because he got mad and decided to run home. You know, don't want that to happen. All right. We haven't talked about illegal substitute situations, but players do not get restricted. Players get warned. Players get ejected. We'll just leave it at that. Oops. I'm talking a lot. I actually have some good videos after, so it'll get better. We just talked about this. Upon being ejected, a player is required to stay in the dugout bench area. We just talked about that. They're not allowed to be in the stands at all. Can you imagine that if you get a kid ejected for swearing at you or something and you let him stay in the stands? This is a 16-year-old kid. What do you think? You think he's going to be quiet? I don't think so. If restricted and ejected players, they have to stay on the bench. They can't warm up players. They can't go be a bullpen catcher. They can't warm up the right fielder between innings. They just have to stay on the bench. All right. This is a very specific reference out of the rule book, 331F6. The head coach was restricted earlier. This assistant coach gets restricted later. This is the head coach's second offense because he's responsible for his assistant coach. This head coach is now ejected. So that one's pretty straightforward. Head coaches go once they're restricted. If somebody else on their team gets restricted, one of their assistant coaches gets restricted, the head coach is ejected because he would have been restricted with the coach, but now he's already on the next tier. What do I got here? All right. I'm actually gonna go to the rule book and show you guys some things here. You can see my rule book here.
Yeah.
Okay. This is very important to realize when you're looking through section 3.3. Okay. Put this a little bigger. Oops, too big. All right. When we're looking at section 3.3, it's separated into tiers of action by us. A through E, see it's all together here, and it's got one penalty section, right? This is all team warning. All of these are team warnings. So A through E, very simple. All team warnings. Then when we move down to, this is a really good way to parse it out when you're looking at the rule book and you're saying, well, what happens if the kid does this or if the coach does that? You already know A through E, that's a team warning. This used to say wear bandanas or jewelry. Jewelry is not part of the rules, so now this is a really stupid one. F through K. F through K is again the next section of it. And this is all individual warning, possible ejection. Warn the offender unless the offense is major, then an ejection should happen. So these are all F through K is all warnings, unless it's so severe it's an ejection. Use of profanity, intimidation, haunting, baiting, all of this stuff. I mean, what's another one here? This one's weird. Amplifiers or bullhorns for coaching purposes during the game. That's just a warning. Coach, put that thing away. That's your warning. But F through K is all. A through E is team warning. F through K is individual warning. And then L through Q is all immediate ejection. Pretty obvious ones. Malicious contact, immediate ejection. One that you might not know, this is a type of interference trying to do anything to cause a balk, immediate ejection. Tobacco on a high school field, come on, get out of here. You're out of here. Leaving their positions or bench area during a fight or physical confrontation, that's a very big one there. And of course, physical action directed toward an umpire. So A through E, team warning. F through K, warning, possible ejection. L through Q, immediate ejection. So they organize it pretty well for us there. Let's see what's after Q there. I think that's it. Yep. I just wanted to point that out to you. I'm trying to I can't go through everything here. I'm trying to give you the rundown of how to find what you need to find. All right, malicious contact we just talked about. It's in the L through Q section. It is M. So this is going to be an immediate ejection. Malicious contact is going to be an intent to injure or excessive intentional force. Pretty simple. You have a collision, it's not always malicious contact. You may have somebody is wrong, they slid wrong, they blocked the plate wrong, they blocked the bag wrong, and there ended up being a collision. But if it doesn't include an intent to injure or excessive intentional force, then it's not malicious contact, it's just illegal contact. That makes sense? Anybody got any questions, comments so far? Everybody is logged off as far as I can see. Let me see some faces. I hope I'm not talking to thin air here. Thanks, Emilio.
Sounds good.
I think looks. I can't tell if Rib is on or not. Guys, let's go. Ricky, Jesus, Alex, you guys here?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I'm here. Just having issues with my video.
Yeah, I see that. It says no video for you. That's cool. Ricky, you with us? All right, moving on. Malicious contact by the offense is also interference. Malicious contact by the defense is obstruction. So an interesting one is malicious contact by a runner who's already scored is the run still scores and it's not an out. We can award second outs if the malicious contact, aka Chase Utley, uh, prevented a second out. And because it's a dead ball at the time of contact of the act, all runners have to go back to their base that they had achieved, even if they're rounding the bases. They go back to where they were at the time the contact happened. Here's a couple good ones. Let's go with this first. What do you think? Intent to injure, excessive force?
Intent and excessive.
Yeah. Now, if that runner had decided to go around the fielder, we would have called obstruction on the fielder, and he would have been given home plate. We would have given him the run. That run scores. But now, because he decided to go through the catcher with his forearms and straight into the catcher's chest, now the runner's out and ejected. And unfortunately, the umpire got this one wrong. He called obstruction and didn't call the malicious contact. But we know better. Wow.
When the
That's the kind
catcher's
of
leg
stuff.
is flat on his back, you got something.
Yeah, yeah, that's the truth. Um, we're I do football, basketball, baseball, and they're trying to get this kind of contact out of every sport. In football, you used to see safeties blowing up receivers. Now it's a 15-yard penalty whenever they do that. This one is just an out. That's all we can do is call an out and an ejection, but we need to handle that. We can't get this wrong. Because if we get this wrong, it's going to happen again in that game, and you're going to have 30 kids on the field duking it out. If we handle it right the first time, it will go a long way toward making sure we don't have a future problem in the same game. Was that start listening? What are they at Fenway? No, no. Where do they sit on the roof? That's at
Wrigley,
Padres.
Wrigley.
Yeah, that's right. All right, just a quick pointer here. This is old school. We don't stand back here off the dirt circle anymore. We're going to be one step behind the plate. We're going to be at point of plate. That's why we talked about point of plate last week. This is not where we stand. Just saying. Backing it up. We think that was a legal slide. Let me slow it down.
looked a little malicious to me. I mean, it's like he launched
I would,
himself at him like a safety at a receiver.
yeah, I would have no problem. I would have no problem backing you for calling something malicious on this. That shoulder dropped. Um, he definitely launched through the catcher. I would have no problem calling that malicious contact. That was excessive force. There may not have been intent to injure there, but it was definitely excessive force. You had one of the two things there. There's no slide here. We have in high school we have slide or avoid. So he either has to slide or he has to avoid contact. He didn't do either there. Let's see is there another video on this one? And this turns into a bit of a brouhaha, so to speak. Of course. Okay. Here's another one that's not as obvious, but it's just as the same. It's malicious contact, and it was this actually the guy that's on the plate on this play is the rules editor for the group that does the Big Ten, the Big 12, the Mid American Conference. He's one of the top umpires in the country.
Whoever invented this tool deserves a raise.
When you first see the play, you'll think, why do you eject him? And then you'll see a different angle, and you'll see what he sees.
Normally it's heading over the wall. A rip into left. St. John's is on the board. Gallison scores. Here comes Bazzelli. They got him. And he's ejected. How about that? Home plate umpire Tim Cordell stepped right in, and Bazzelli's ejected for attempting to collide with Alessio.
I'll show you another angle in a second.
But a huge situation here. Cordell ejected Bazzelli right on the spot. Christian Del Castillo came up with this. This ball was hit very hard. It got. Okay, now at second base, you see Rob Bazzelli. He will be waved all the way. Waving now. Waving now. And here's your collision.
They'll show a different angle.
Either way, the throw brought Alessio into foul territory.
Watch the shoulder, the elbow, straight to the chin of the catcher. First thing he did was call time. You're out of here.
Ways would be, okay, your arms came up, you were looking for contact. That's what Seton Hall.
It's really the kind of thing that if we don't handle, players will try and handle it themselves on the field. See if they show it. There we go. They're going to show it again right here.
Hey, watch Bazzelli. Tries to make a move, and there it is, the shoulder. That's what it was. The shoulder, forearm, and that's what will get Bazzelli ejected. And in the Big East, a one-game ejection means that you are suspended for the following game.
That's the kind of stuff we can't miss. All right, we're talking about fights. Knock on wood, I have not had a fight on the field. There's been a few, to my recollection, recently in the area. One college club game recently. I haven't had one, thankfully. But the thing that we need to watch for is if there's a physical altercation. First of all, if it's starting to happen right in front of you, you have one swift opportunity to possibly step in between and say stop. If they're going to fight, you're not a hero. Get the hell out of the way. You may be able to deflect it or stop it initially, but if they decide to go, you just gotta go. You gotta get out of the way. I mean, where's students? There we go. But when it does happen, you get out of the way, and then you have to see not only what's happening at the situation, but you have to make sure that the dugouts and the bullpens aren't rolling toward your situation. Any single player that leaves their position, leaves the dugout, leaves the bench, gets ejected. We ask the coaches to help, but if they're inflaming it, they get ejected too. What's this one? Wow. There's a whole lot going on in this video, but I'm going to move forward to the umpires blew a call on the field. There was something else that happened. The umpires are getting this is an ending. This is a game-ending play. The umpires are getting accosted by the coaches, and then there was all kinds of taunting going on, and you're gonna have just a all-out brawl happen. This is just a shit show from hell here. There we go. There's number one. I wouldn't even have let them do a handshake line at this point. You can look at this stuff going on. These umpires are just oblivious to what's happening. And it's on. So, does anybody know when this game is over? Does anybody know when our authority on the field ends? We're responsible for everything on that field until both of us have left the confines of the field. The game's over. Just get out. Here's a better one. Yeah. I want you to look at this picture. This is a major league game, I think. No, Binghamton and Portland. It's a minor league game. Look at what our umpires are doing. Observing. There's no one in the pile. If they were in the pile trying to pull guys apart here, if they're in the pile trying to pull guys apart here, do you see this umpire's head? He never would have seen this secondary action happening here. We just need to observe at that point. Nothing else we can do. Come on, why is it not going? Oh, it's not going because that's my last slide for the day. How about that? I saw that, Greg. All right. Let's see. Ricky, are you with us? Okay. Let's see. Turn off my screen sharing. Oh, I got some chats in here. Okay, Ricky, I just saw you. I just saw your message. All right. So we covered. Go back a little bit. We covered the quiz. We covered interference and obstruction, just the terminology for it to begin with. We covered terminology for base awards. We covered a lot of stuff to do with Rule 3.3. I'm telling you, if there's any rule that you really need to know, I mean, you need to know the book, but if there's any rule that you need to know well early, 3.3 is a good one to look at. You know, I broke it down for you how what the different types of penalties are for the sections in 3.3, but take a good look at it. There's some odd stuff in there, you know, using an air horn or trying to cause a balk, that kind of weird stuff. But you got to know, you know, if if I restrict a coach, an assistant coach to the bench, what happens to the head coach? If the head coach is already restricted, now what do I do if an assistant coach gets in trouble? You know, you got to know this kind of stuff. Greg, you got anything to add? Frank, anything?
Yeah, I'm good here.
I don't have anything to add about what you were talking about. The rules, you know, I think as always, you do a great job. But now, for those that are on, Sunday looks very iffy. So I don't know. You know, we'll make a decision as the forecast becomes more solid, um, and you'll get an email probably from Russ Chapman. But if we do meet, it will be the wedge theory, obstruction, um, batters interference, catchers obstruction specifically, and then we'll also set up a cage. What will probably happen is Sunday will be canceled because of the snow. And what would happen for the following Sunday that I'll mention again next Wednesday is we'll combine the two and we'll do a cage in the hallway, and we'll do we'll start off in the cafeteria. I'll go over the wedge theory, batters interference, and catchers obstruction, and then we will break up into two groups. And if we have all six, well, actually, we'll have five. So we'll do a group of three and a group of two, and we'll have stations. And the infield station, because the following week we're supposed to talk about taking plays at first base and where you position yourself as you want. We'll do all that in the gym, and we'll do the pitching machine. So we'll do the plate work in the hallway, and Russ and Andy and Robert will show you how to do that, how to set it up in the hallway. So that's probably what is going to happen. But again, please stand by because the forecast is certainly not solid. We've got a few more days, but if the storm progresses as forecast for now, we're going to get a lot. And but today I even saw where it was going to start at noon around here. Then it went to 6 a.m. and now it's around 10 a.m. But even if it's 10 a.m., we won't get it won't be. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But the likelihood of us meeting right now is very low for Sunday. I'll leave it at that.
All righty. Well, we'll definitely be on for Wednesday. You know,
It's good that we don't have any Zoom snowouts unless there's power outages.
I had. Oh, it was our first Sunday class. That's the first time I'd ever had a Zoom canceled because of weather.
That's right.
Because Robert couldn't make it there. That's funny.
Yeah,
all right, guys. Hey, good to see
All
your
right.
faces. Really. I actually have my first scrimmage tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that. Getting on the field. That'll be good.
Yep.
But,
And you know it's the Camels.
The Campbell Camels. Yeah. Yeah. I've never met this coach. Last name is Marks. He coached at Purdue. Never met him before though. We'll see.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
All
have
right,
a good
guys.
one.
Take care, everybody.
Yep.
All right, guys. Take
Thank
care.
you. Bye, guys.
Signing off, fellas.